Peace, 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 family. This is High Priestess Sister Arcola Sojad, and you are watching Metaphysical Monday. I know it's late, as these shows are late. Many of them, Sojad Activation Hour, namely, and also Metaphysical Monday. Shout out to my viewers that will be tapping in on Denim Design. Again, I can't see my viewers on Denim Design, so if you want to connect with me on the live stream, leave comments, tap in with the new Soul Jet Healing family. Um, Conscious Outcast Gang Gang. Make sure y'all come down to Calligraphy TV so that you can go ahead and interact with the live, leave comments, questions, whatever you want to share. Now, this subject that I'm tapping in now, I'm calling this live the perception part two. This is for the perception part two. From what we talked about a couple of nights ago. I think it might have been only like I think it was Saturday night. So like a couple of nights ago, we spoke on some other aspects of duality and the perception of good and evil, dark and light, and so on. Now, I thought I was going to be able to cover this information in one live that, for the perception part two, but starting to take a life of his own, when I'm doing this work. I cover, some of these topics and thoughts that I have are very heavy. And being that I'm not just like reading in a book, or I do study, but for the most part, what happens with me is uh, I'll learn something through, my environment, something I hear, something I've observed. And then of course, a thinking person, your thoughts are going to begin to you're going to begin to get other insights based on the information and just your own perception of things, and not just your perception, but it is your perception, but also your ability to have the gifts to see things, the innate ability to take a idea, concept, or something someone else may have said, taught, or something you discover, and expound upon it and find value in it, build on it, right? So a lot of times, because I'm constantly thinking, I'm a Virgo. We like thinking. We thinkers, I was about to go into Sonia Sanchez, Black poet. Shout out to Sonia Sanchez, um, one of our strong African American or Black poets, from back in the old days, the '60s. And she always would say, she's a Virgo. She would say, I just loves to think, with the S on it. I just loves to think. And that's how I am. I love thinking about things. But just because I can think about it and understand it uh, in a certain way, I have to be able to explain it and break down what I'm saying in order to, communicate it to other people, especially an audience. Like, I don't know who's watching the live, but anyway, welcome in. So I'm saying all of this because, this is going to be a lot of this stuff is layered. It seems complex, and I hope I'm not boring, boring people. I want to, make it uh lively too, but at the same time, uh I'm a person that I'm not for the faint of heart, and for the surface dwellers. I'm about, I dive deep. So we talk about, I'm with the deep divers. So when you're ready to dive deep, tap in with the Soul Jet Healing community. Uh and so in saying all of that, it's because I'm not going to be able to finish all of this information in one live. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on the twinning duality of the good and excuse me, let me go back. The perception part two. I was having all kind of trouble like thinking of what I wanted to call this live, because it kind of breaks into some other, other things. It's not all about twinning, but it does, we do cover this topic of twinning, the good twin versus the evil twin, right? Um and the perception of dark and light still. But I'm gonna go ahead and just get started, and then we'll get more into what I want to speak about today. Okay. So, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's feeling good. Happy Monday. Hope you guys have made your affirmations. If you haven't, today is the day to set your intentions as it set the tone for the rest of the week. Put that good positive energy out there, despite of whatever you're going through. We have to get grounded. And for those of you who may not be able to pull yourselves out of the funk, just know that this too shall pass. And just stay centered, stay grounded, talk to God, do the work. So I pulled a card for the community tonight, you guys. And I just want to also put out there, because this is my livelihood, this is my work. I give a lot, but I also want to, put out there that um, I am still available for readings, for dream analysis. I also do manifestation candles, and I do this work 7 days a week. Um, if you want to know more about the readings and what I do and what my prices are, you can always tap in on the inbox of Denim Design. And you can also tap in with me on Soul Jet Tarot, and this is on Facebook. Okay, so, and I have an email address that you can also email me if you're here on YouTube. It is in my About section. And I'm going to make sure that's there, but I'm almost certain that it's there. And what else? You can also donate to the channel at with Cash App, okay, and that should be also in the About section, okay. Um, Other than that, that's let's go ahead and get it in. So I pulled a card for the community tonight. Oh, before we even get started, hold on, let me warm it up, get some people in here too. This is a late live, so I know some people may be sleeping, so y'all be tapping into the replay. And some of you guys can just go to sleep to the live because it is that type of live. So anyway, so I'm gonna tap in with that instrumental of "We Got All the Light," and hopefully soon, you guys, I could bring the words to y'all. I'm looking for my version. If Larry, if you watching this live, do you have a copy of "We Got All the Light," Larry? And if you do, can you shoot your girl a copy so I can play it on calligraphy on this Metaphysical Monday and the Soul Jet Activation Hour? Just, let's get it in. We're gonna go ahead and play a little bit of that instrumental. And this is our devotion time. So y'all, sit back, relax, and enjoy the live. You are watching Metaphysical Monday with High Priestess Sister Cola Soul Jet and the new Soul Jet Healing Community, aka the Conscious Outcast Gang. Make sure you like, subscribe, share if you are enjoying the content. Thank you. Okay, you guys. So again, that is the instrumental to "We Got All the Light." That's, you guys are going to be hearing that a lot because I decided to make that one of the selections, other than Trap Astrology Report, for the community, for the live streams. So let's go ahead and get in. I'm gonna take me a sip of water right quick. So I'm gonna first give the card of the evening. I wanted to say the card of the day. Well, you can let it apply for the day tomorrow. you know, um, this is a specific message for whoever it catches. It is a collective message. However, take it as it resonates. When I pulled the card for the live today, it was purple, the color purple. And we know purple emanates a high spiritual frequency. You know, um, Purple deals with the third eye, deals with clairvoyance. It's connected to the crystal amethyst. Um, it deals with spiritual attainment. You can also use purple as a color of influence, creativity, and so forth. I had a perfect video I could have ran through here, but I didn't even think to do it. But anyway, I'll do it on another live, and it speaks a little bit about my purple Black Girl Magic candle. So y'all want to also speak on this too, you guys, while we're on the candles. Um, I am going to be doing the New Year's ritual. For those of you who know, like that know me from back in the day, old school, we're going to be doing the New Year's live celebration. I am going to be selling dress candles, manifestation candles for uh the new year resolution candles, and I'll give you a little bit more on that when I'm gonna speak more about that when I'm ready, to get when it gets closer. I'm gonna probably do a little commercial, like a little reel or something. But whatever the case, um, I want to talk to you about those now because I am gonna be taking orders starting next week. And if you're interested, get your order in. The candles are $20 still. Um, and we're going to be doing this whole thing online, the celebration. Even if you don't get a candle, you can still join us for the celebration. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into the color purple. Okay, that's our message. So it's a lot I can say about purple, but I want to just go ahead and read the oracle. So whoever this is for, okay, and I want to just give thanks to the ancestors bringing that energy in. Give thanks to the Most High, to creation, to infinite wisdom and knowledge, um, for understanding. For the ability to be able to understand and embrace the changes and stand firm on the values you do have that you don't feel need to change. But there are some things that definitely need to be revolutionized within us. It's time for the revolution. And the revolution is the evolution of our mind, spirits, souls, in the way we treat each other and the things we put our energy and focus on as humans. So for the purple message, you are being sent loving messages via clear visions in your mind's eye. Okay, so the veil is getting thin. So there's people that are being sent messages, loving messages via clear visions in your mind's eye, your dreams, recurring patterns you see with your physical eyes. Notice the images in your dreams. Do not be afraid to see them. They're from God. They're from your ancestors, the guides, your angels, your dream guides. Purple symbolizes the third eye and the sixth chakra. Your clairvoyance, clear seeing is open. So this is about, people growing in their spiritual gifts, you know, and the color purple can help to enhance those things. You may see purple, you may want to wear purple or keep purple around you. Purple indicates that your sixth chakra is unbalanced for some of you. Some people need to put that chakra in balance and start tuning in more and to the third eye and to meditation and just talking to God and however you feel uh the work that you need to do to connect and balance, pay attention. The third eye is about paying attention to the things around you, the messages. Spirit is constantly talking to us. So this can manifest when it's unbalanced and in a need to escape from reality. Okay, not being grounded in reality, this need to escape. Another symptom of imbalance is the feeling of superiority. As I said, purple has a power to influence also. So sometime with spiritual attainment and influence, we have to keep ourselves in check that we're not feeling superior to others. Okay. And in this case, it's asking us to acknowledge that all people have powers of clairvoyance. And I always tell you guys that it's just all about how in tune and how open we are to tap into these innate gifts and abilities that God has given us. Ashe. So for those of you who are still in alignment with Christianity, this card is connected with archangels Michael, Haniel, Metatron, which we call Melchizedek, um, Jeremiel, Raziel, and they're associated with the symbol of the purple chakra, which you can't see here, so it's no need of me even going into that. For others, it's saying give yourself the royal treatment. Purple is also connected to royalty. So some people are really needing to take that time and give back to themselves, and not just the regular give back to yourselves. I mean, do it up. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm still dealing with my apologies. I'm still dealing with my chest cold, and the head cold is pretty much cleared up. It's in my chest, so some of my words are, fading out. But allow yourself to enjoy activities that bring feelings of luxury and just, the royal treatment, that Leo energy, king, queen, do too much if you're in that position to do it and you haven't been giving back to yourself. Okay. You may want to give somebody else the royal treatment. But definitely make sure you're getting that royal treatment. And it's time for others to just check in with the third eye, do your energy work, affirmations, and yeah, just be open, like I said. So that's all I got on that. Um, Hopefully it resonated with someone out there or who will be tapped in. So let's go ahead into the review. So the perception of light and dark in our nature is what we've been talking about. As I've been going deeper into my learning, teaching, and understanding of duality, the light versus the shadow, good versus evil, the light versus dark, however you want to put that, but we're dealing with that aspect of the light within ourselves and the shadow also. So these conflicted energetic frequencies are traits, deeds, thoughts, ideas, feelings that are all categorized or labeled as good or bad. These are all contained in us in one human body. However, as we humans will naturally lean to or gravitate to our innate or what instinctually feels good, our instinctual basis, like what, we have different natures that we're born with, and even though we have the ability or we have the potential and even the desires of so-called light and dark, we're gonna naturally lean normally, because most people aren't just totally integrated, not until you come into awareness. So you're gonna naturally lean more and until you are taught, because some people aren't taught, so they don't know. We only know what we know, right? So you're gonna naturally lean or gravitate to what you instinctually connected to. You may lean more to the light energy because you're naturally lighter. you know you could be more positive in your mindset, more loving, affectionate. You may have a kind heart. You may be a person that's forgiving. You may be a person that shies away from confrontation, more emotional, generous, etc. You are truly a light being. So therefore you lean more into, the lighter side of things, but that doesn't mean that you don't have the shadow. While there are others who gravitate to the light because it's more socially acceptable, meaning they could be full of shadow energy, but they'll gravitate to the light just because it's more socially acceptable. And they still may lack the empathy and awareness, though, on the other end. They may have this, these false positivities or false, traits or ideas of light, or appear to be this way, but they still lack empathy and awareness on the back end. And then there's those who naturally and often openly gravitate. Yeah, let me say that again. Then there's those that who naturally and often openly gravitate to their more of their shadow side, embodying traits like being mean. They may naturally just be mean, been mean since they were little bitty babies, no, to kind of be like, no, or just whatever, they could be aggressive, quick to violent, like violent reactions to certain things. Naturally, the type that may hit or bite children. Some children are literally biters. They go around biting kids and hitting on children, and nobody really even taught them that. It's just kind of a natural inclination to be more aggressive, to be bossy. They got some children that are bossy, manipulative. And I'm speaking to children because that's how we start off. We start off as children. Um, some people embrace being the villain or the mega beast. or the you may have a child and you raise them in one community, and they naturally got a gangster side to them, or a side of wanting to be, they're more like, just just comfortable operating in the shadow. Some people go that way, um, in a conscious way, like when a person like, I'ma just be the villain. They choose, they have a desire to control, or they know that they have these traits, and they see um how people respond to it. A lot of aggressive people are people that operate in the shadow. Some of them do it, for control, a desire to control, a desire for power. And power is really big because it's those powers that is power in owning your shadow to a degree, where some people could fear you, or you have a certain nature about yourself that automatically people they feel like you are a boss, or you just have these certain qualities that, even though as obviously, leaders have light aspects too, but then it also has that other side to it, a desire to dominate, for some. um and even if you embrace, like I said, some of the light qualities, they're still dominated by that spirit of desire, that spirit of desire, greed, self gratification, a desire to manipulate, and just how that power feels. And we know that, like when I say, dark and light, it has its levels, because, you know, when we start embracing those types of energies, obviously power corrupts. And we know absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's when you begin to see it give birth to what we call evil, right? So our dark and light traits can also reflect in our aesthetic. You may not act out in certain ways, but it just may be an aesthetic. You may like gravitate to the gothic type of fashion. It may come across in like people that, even though I can't stand it, but it's not for me to determine. But people like the guys in our community that like to sag or slab. We used to call it slabbing out here in Southeast Texas, but they call it sagging, or all the names that they have for it. I don't know, but that's a form of a rebellion, of a societal rebellion. They know that they can't possibly think that look good, so it's just more of their own freedom, and rebelling against the suit and what society deems as appropriate. So it's a and sometimes you'll see it in, like, when the girls, everybody else may have the blonde hair, or they got wearing ponytails, little neat ponytails, and everybody's wearing pink, and you got others that's like, I'm gonna wear the black hair, like Rizzo on Grease. I'm gonna come with the fishnet stockings and the mini skirt, and I'm gonna wear crucifix earrings, or just they got their own style. However you want to look at that. Whether it's some of it is, even when the boys started back wearing locks, wearing dreads, locks, wearing wicks. Like people like the neat locks, as long as they look nice and neat. But the wicks, they looked at that as wicked, like, ooh, what's going on? But it became a thing. So um but there's people who look at that or deem that as kind of like on that rebellious, or like you may be on the dark side. They may try to associate you to being a bum, or being a thug, or just different things that people can assume based on a perception, right? You may see it play out the dark side in our even our musical selections. That may be considered our hobbies, our clothing, our friends, and so forth. But and then you may even see people that do, it's not necessarily dark sided, but you may see people who have, like, they decide to wear things, or embrace a style like myself that's eccentric. And I don't know if eccentric is necessarily considered shadowy, but I guess it can be, depending on how eccentric you get, because generally an eccentric person may like a lot of colors. They may like bold, crazy stuff, and then that would be considered like, against what everybody else is doing. So you may stand out or be the eyeball, which could again group you into being a shadow, because people isolate you when they think you're different or weird, or you may be grouped into some type of a niche type of group. But whatever the case, even if we gravitate to one side of our nature over the other, it doesn't negate that the other side is still there. but often both light and dark can be masked or masqueraded, or present. Hold on, excuse me, I'm sorry, you guys. But both light and dark can mask or be masqueraded, um, and we present the energy that we're most comfortable with. Except for people who accept themselves, the nonconformists, they'll go ahead and embrace, the shadow side, and then the ones who are conformists are going to be in line with what is socially acceptable in society. So I would like to speak a little bit on twins and taboos and perceptions, and how perceptions can be mistaken for truth and tradition and laws sometime, especially when we're dealing with taboos, excuse me. um I was like, excited to kind of talk about the twin energy, and looking at, dualities and stuff like that. And, just I'm kind of switching up to twins now to get to my point. But when you think about twins, and I'm speaking from American culture here on this soil, we normally are excited about twins. Like when I was a child, you see it when I first seen twins. I got twins in my family, but they always, were a thing of, more of fascination. Like, I wish I was a twin, or I would do this, I would do that. Definitely considered a gift. Like, wow, you was blessed with two children, or you blessed with triplets, or just whatever. But um, just wondering what it's like, and just seeing the connection that twins have, and the same mindsets, and different things like that, and just how close are they, and just how connected spiritually are they, and so forth and so on. Um, but when I was studying, when I went to twins, this is how we ended up getting into taboos tonight, because um, it was saying that, I was looking at certain cultures that said that twins were taboo, and I'm like, I couldn't believe that. I had no idea um, about that. So I'm gonna first define the word taboo. You know, um, so by definition, a taboo is a social or religious custom prohibiting or forbidding a discussion of a particular practice, or forbidding association with a particular person, place, or thing. Okay. So this is a social or religious custom. Just like I told you, it's always society, it's always something social or religious that create these certain restrictions, and prejudices. Even a taboo serves as an unwritten rule of society engagement, or societal engagement, that protects our seat at the table. I'll just put it like that, in our communities, to prevent us from doing or saying something offensive. Okay. So, regarding taboos, like all things, there's going to be a dualistic nature in that as well. It's a double edged sword. And I'm not going to say that all taboos are wrong, but, they definitely need to be examined. Taboos can benefit a society by maintaining social order or cohesion, preventing disruptive behaviors that can destabilize a community. They help people feel connected. You know, um, Taboos can protect vulnerable groups and promote respect for cultural traditions. But remember, taboos are still pretty much man made and subject to promote prejudices, to incite violence on innocent people, based on misunderstandings and ignorance and limited, outdated thinking. Taboos can be harmful to a society by restricting individual freedom, self-expression, and again, discriminations. They stifle open dialogue. See, this is why in certain circles we can't talk about certain things, even the things I'm speaking on now that are probably unpopular, which is why I don't have many viewers. But the it stifles the open dialogue that can allow us to use our minds and to think and to contribute and to, be able to measure, use that, instead of duality, the polarity, to measure the light and dark aspects of things, and how they can affect our society or even help our society, right? So they when we stifle the dialogue, we avoid taboo topics, such as, again, going into things that often prevents important discussions about social issues that hinders our progress. Okay. Um, so concerning taboos, we must consider the context and evolution over time and give it some critical examination. Just like I wanted to get, Brother Ishmael, shout out to Brother Ishbay. If you are watching or will watch, I wanted to get Brother Ish on the show. I had did a video on the 42 laws of my eye and were they still relevant. I wanted to also look at the Sharia laws. On this channel, we deal with spirituality, but also I honor the heart of all religions if they're on some positive things. Me myself, I choose not to uh, be in a religion, um, more in a spiritual practice, and I take certain religious rites and traditions that still apply to me from the degrees that I've learned and studied in, and I still honor and respect those. It's like I said in the other live about spiritual cleansings. But just to touch on that, but there are many different types of taboos, and some, like I said, are very harmful, and some um, may be needed or are needed in order for us to observe and respect and honor certain cultural beliefs. I mean, not beliefs, but traditions. Um, there are many different taboos, and we know of many of them. They go back to the quiet rules, and this is also these taboos and these quiet rules and shutting people down that creates this cloak. This is why we have the cloak or the shadow, and some of these taboos need to be eradicated. Uh, but sometimes because they're hidden, they become the shadow. They become the predators. They become the violence, the hidden violence. They become uh, the prejudices that prevent us, even in us black people. A lot of these taboos prevent us from moving forward, on both sides. Taboos about us and taboos that we have about ourselves. Okay. So like some of the ones we know about, that's like, we learned early on is a no-no. Stuff like incest, like, oh no, do that. Um, and that should definitely continue to be a taboo. Okay. Dating older people when you're a teenager, like even teen pregnancies, all of those kind of things fell under what we knew was taboo. You may see it, but don't talk about it. Being too dark skinned, crazy, but yeah, that was considered taboo to even date somebody dark in some societies, especially Creoles. They're like, oh, I'm gonna leave that alone, but it's a lot of colorism. And even though many in Louisiana do, they love dark women and men, but there's still certain taboos surrounding colorism and things like that. Being considered big, being fat or big, not to use that word, but that would be the word that they would use and discriminate. Homosexuality, any type of sexual deviances or sexual freedoms, even. Um, Cursing or disrespecting holy ground. You guys pretty much know the regular taboos that we've had to, that we know about and we've honored and observed, and some that people break under the cloak, and some they do outside of the cloak. But from jungle to jungle, what's acceptable and not acceptable, it's going to vary. So regarding twins, as I was doing a little research on twins, and speaking on that, even girl children, that's also taboo in many places, and girl children are killed because they are not seen as having value. And I think something similar was done to male children in the Bible. So anyway, all taboo stuff. So regarding twins, though, there was definitely taboo surrounding the twins, and I was extremely shocked. And I'm not gonna go all over in every place in the world that have this twin discrimination. I'm gonna namely look at Africa because that's what came up mostly when I was doing my research, and I found that interesting because I have a background. I studied in Ifa and African spirituality, and just and in E5 in particular, the Ibeji is the Orisha for the twins. And twins are, they're held in high regard in Africa. I mean, in the Yoruba clan, they hold twins in high regard. You know, um, they see twins as sacred, as a blessing, things like that. Um, so anyway, I wanted to go into the taboo though. Just like with the albino children, and it's real sad, but there's a lot of taboos surrounding black children or Africans that are albino in the continent as well. So there were definitely, you know, some of them were, different a little bit. It's surrounding the twin, but like I said, I found some of these very interesting. In ancient times, it was they said, I was looking at something that just went on in ancient times in general. Twins were considered evil and unnatural. And I'm like, really? I couldn't believe that. I think they're so fascinating. But I'm not gonna go into each little thing, but I'm gonna just kind of do an overview. But when I looked at Africa, Nigeria definitely stood out, and Madagascar. And so and the Ngoni. In Nigeria, like the Igbos is who I'm speaking to when I'm talking of Nigeria. Um, and like the Ngoni who used to kill twins at birth. The people of Madagascar, is slightly different, but still rooted in that same belief mindset that twins are unnatural, weird, unlucky, cursed. They bring disaster, bad luck to the community. Twins are untrusted. So, like I said, the Ngoni would kill them at birth. Um, Even the Igbos, they would, these people would, they still do. And, some of these clans still do this, and they're trying to, obviously they're fighting to eradicate this stuff. And in some places it has been, but even in Madagascar, twins are still abandoned, put up for adoption. But back in the day, these twins were, and like I said, it still goes on, quiet as it's kept because it's a taboo. Twins are left in forests or abandoned, uh, and if you decide to keep the twins or the children, it could be dangerous and lead you definitely to having to leave with your family, in isolation or away from the rest of the community to protect the community, because there's real fears surrounding twins and this so-called taboo. And a lot of it is just because they're not understanding. They're not, just lacking understanding of a lot of things, namely the essence and just the gift that twins are. But anyway, let me go ahead and finish with this. So there's similar hatred towards the African albino, like I said, and a lot of these ideas come from superstitions and maybe even strange coincidences. Like, say, for instance, it was, a village where twins were, and just so happened there was famine, or just so happened some type of tragedy breaks out or something, and they're using the twins as the scapegoat, both twins. Very interesting, because that's where this live is going to lead to. I didn't want to make it too long because it's already late, but we're gonna go ahead and also touch on, the good twin, evil twin. But let me finish this. Let me see, because I get sidetracked so easily. So much information. But I was speaking to these superstitions. Many tribes, including the Igbos in modern days, however, are putting laws into place now, like I said, and they're enforcing laws against the mistreatment of twins. And in Madagascar now, they're mostly adopted out rather than just abandoned. So I heard accounts of parents who later suffered regret and said they would have never made these choices to get rid of their children or abandon their children. But like I said, a lot of this is ignorance. Some people hold these traditions so near and dear that they won't even examine them. You know, then we can even move to the part where they're saying that twins were unnatural. It was unnatural. Some of the tribes felt like it was unnatural for women to give birth to two children or more at once. And I feel like a lot of it was based in jealousy and ignorance, and uneducated men who didn't or don't understand. They didn't at the time. They didn't understand fertility, eggs, the development process of the mitosis. So, our creation. So they falsely assumed that it was unnatural for the woman to give birth to more than one child. So they were accused of cheating, or saying that, they thought that basically one twin was for one man and one twin was for another man, while other societies felt one twin was from a bad spirit and had a spirit father, like some evil spirit um, was the father of the other child. And so since they couldn't determine which twin was the evil twin and the good twin, they just sacrifice both of them, and what I mean by sacrifice is, I only seen where the Ngoni actually kills the twins at birth, but most of them were just abandoning, and some of them were subjected to violence and stuff like that. Now, like I said, I just did a blanket statement with what I've seen mostly over and over again. When I speak about these certain taboos in culture, they're pretty much the same. It's still the root of the same thing. It may be they did this differently and they did that differently, but it's pretty much the same. And what I mean is, let me slow down a little bit. Um, like for instance, the people in Madagascar, they abandon the twin or adopt them out, where the Ngoni killed them at birth. So and then the Igbo um did the same thing. They pretty much abandoned them, are but they all consider them to be cursed, right? So just twins themselves, not good twin, bad twin. I'm speaking of both twins. It's just the idea of having twins. So I never knew that those type of taboos were against the twins, right? So the twins became like scapegoats in some of these societies for their community. Anything that went bad, they would put it on the twins. So they was automatically a taboo thing. Um, very, very sad. So, and like I said, the part that really blew my mind is when they speak to the men who literally thought that women were cheating because it was unnatural for women to give birth to two or more children at once. I mean, that's insane. But hey, I'm not gonna judge it. I'm just gonna give the information at this point. you know, but um, but in both cases, rather for whatever reason it was, the twins had to go. You know, um, Now, on the other hand, you look at the Yoruba people, and twins were. This is the perception. Now, I didn't went over the shadow part of it, but on the lighter part of it, in the Basa Inge people, the Yoruba, these are just examples. I'm sure there's, I couldn't do every tribe. I just wanted to give examples. They see twins as sacred. They see twins as a blessing. They're a gift from God. They got shrines. The Basa Inge build shrines in the honor of twins. The Yoruba have like I said, an Orisha, the Beji, that's in honor of the twins and deal with children. Um, the way the Yoruba looked at it, though, it was interesting about even scapegoating the twins and thinking that, well, both twins got to be evil and all of this stuff, because that taboo that we have, where people in the stereotype of good twin, evil twin, all of that rooted from those ancient taboos of twins just being evil in general, right? So the Yoruba believe that the twins share souls. They feel like they're one soul split into two, where Western culture definitely don't subscribe to that. They said it's not proven. Obviously they don't operate in that energy that you know uh the indigenous people operate in, as far as the way we see things on a spiritual level. A lot of times what's not proven, what's not able to be controlled, what's not tangible. And not just in I'm speaking to the Western world, but in the Eastern cultures, the spirit world is more embraced. It's there, people are comfortable with it. I mean, even here on this soil, the indigenous natives here, we are a nature-based and spirit-based uh people, and the insights and all of the stuff that we've gotten, and the knowledge that we have, a lot of it comes from the spirit world. And so, twins in the Ephod spirituality in the Yoruba, it's they're considered to be, you know, very spiritually attuned and very evolved. Um, Now I just thought this was interesting too. I mean, this is let me see. When the twins were put in the bush, especially in Madagascar, what's taking place right now is and this has been since the 1800s. I believe it's the 1800s. Yeah. There's like the Europeans have set up shop where when they saw these twins being abandoned, and that's why we have to really, 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 as we learn and evolve, because I know people watch from different places. So as we learn and we evolve and we get this information, we have to begin to really, use our common sense with some of this stuff. and see what larger things are at play. You know, what are people agenda? So while these babies are being abandoned, these twins in Madagascar, they were starting to steal these children. They were stealing these kids, stealing babies, and creating orphanages and baby business. I don't even want to go there. That's a whole nother topic because we know it's a lot surrounding the trafficking of children, and that's not a new concept. That's an ancient concept, you know. So it got to a point where so many twins were being abandoned and adopted out that it started raising suspicions that European people that were out there, you know, namely missionaries, were encouraging these people to give up their children so that they can, you know, take hold of them. And if you want to do the science on that, like some of you guys, some of the stuff I spoke to several tribes. You can Google it yourself, or do the research yourself, or read the book yourself on the tribes and how they saw twins, or just the way the world saw twins, and this hatred towards twins. Um, and even, you know, we already know with the albinos. Um, but I'm speaking namely the twins because the albino subject is something totally different. Well, not totally different in the prejudices and taboos surrounding it, but you know, yeah, different subject. So, where was I at? It was something else I wanted to share on these twins. Oh yeah, the woman's name. Yeah, this I was correct. Yeah, so it was in 1855. Another place to look where the twins were being sacrificed or being abandoned and, you know, just not welcomed is Calabar, Nigeria, and the woman name is Mary Slessor. She is the one. Mary Slessor was enforcing. She's the one that actually enforced the ban on twins for people to stop killing the twins. But there was also some other agenda that was attached to that, you know, as far as, you know, kind of remind me almost like of that lady here that started the abortion clinics, Margaret Sanger, but, you know, that type of character. But this woman had a different agenda, and who knows what that agenda was. I mean, they could have been doing anything, running experiments on folks. You know, these kids could have been abused. I don't know, but I do know this: her concern for being the hero and being the savior, she, you know, stopped the twins from being killed or being abandoned, and she started her own adoption center and adopted several twins. So again, if you're interested in more on her, that's Mary Slessor. That's her name. Um, but you know, like with the Yoruba again, you know, they you can almost say worship twins, rever twins. And the first twins, in according to the Yoruba tradition, was there was no twins until Shango and Oshun gave birth to twins. You know, and I was kind of, now I'm just going off the script because you know, I wasn't going to tap into this tonight. I didn't know how long I wanted the live to be or how long it would take me to get through the information. But I mean, twins are so important in the Nigerian culture of the Yoruba people that even if a twin passes away, then, you know, twins are said not to be separated. So, you know, there's a doll that's made in like a replica of the twin that passed away, and the living twin uh keeps that doll or that presence and continue to appease it and have this spiritual relationship with the twin. Um, Something else that's interesting, and like I said, I'm not going to go too much longer on this. I just wanted to, because I want to go into next. We're going to go into the good twin, evil twin perception. And I just like, I don't, you know, it's kind of late, but in Africa, you know, just to go back to the Ifa tradition or the Yoruba people, the twins come with like these names, these native names. So when you have twins, you name your twins by tradition, and people that still follow the tradition, and many do. Um, they call the twins. The first one that comes out of the womb is called Taye or Tawo, and the second twin is called Kende. Kende. I may be pronouncing my enunciations. I know some of the words in Nigerian, but I don't the if you don't have the tonal aspect right, then it's wrong. Okay, so if a Nigerian is listening, they're gonna be like, she ain't saying that right. They'll laugh at me, but it's pretty much it's Taiwo, and Kiende. Okay, and the word for twins is Ibiji. Okay, or Ibeji, 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 like that. Okay. So anyway, the first twin that comes out of the womb is the twin that is considered the younger twin. And the kind that's Tawo and Kende, the second twin is considered the elder twin. Now, when the first twin comes out, it's like it's coming out and it's more quick in the world, catching on to things in the world. And the twin that got to see out into this world first and what's going on in there, going on out there, I mean, into this new dimension. And I would say that one would probably be more connected to worldly things and maybe success in the world and understanding how the world works, where the Kende twin or Kende would be the one that's more spiritually evolved. That's considered the elder twin because it stayed in the spirit world longer. It's still in that realm. So it would be more akin to things of a spiritual nature. Now, you know, uh, it's interesting that, they call it the twins evil in some cultures, and here they're revering these twins of having one soul. I mean, like dealing with that, can you imagine? I mean, that's almost like you're born as this, with this great responsibility of being responsible for that other half, and I'm not a twin, so I can't really, go into what they feel like and how deep that connection is. But I know in studying Ifa that twins are a big deal. I know, in the Yoruba culture, twins are a big deal. And I can imagine, just how sacred and spiritual it would be to have to be that conscious and that sensitive to another person's soul. So that's like a soulmate. And we'll get deeper into that because, like I said, this could go real deep. I would love to give a space to twins and talk more about the spiritual aspect of twins. But what I'm speaking to tonight though is that aspect of duality. So you saying sharing the soul, that's interesting. And it divides off into, is there such thing truly as is a good twin and a bad twin, or is this a perception, that people have about twins? One twin is good, one twin is bad. Might as well touch on that. And you know, how does this come about? So when I was looking at again duality, twins came up. The Gemini come up, and then also twins came up, and that concept of the good twin, evil twin came up. So as I'm kind of brainstorming, I had a whole bunch of questions. Like maybe I could start the live with questions. So first of all, good and evil twin, truth or perception. This is just stuff for us to think about when we're talking about duality. Do twins share souls? Well, according to the Yoruba, yes. But, again, can one twin be blessed with all the good qualities while other twin is inherently cursed with all the bad traits? Who determines what makes one twin better than the other? Or what determines it? Are twins' actions good or bad based on religion or on the compatibility or convenience or temperance of the parent or guardian of the child? And is it only twin siblings that can experience comparisons of good and evil? I mean, can you imagine having to be responsible for another person's actions and character? That's a hard uh thing to carry. But I realized in doing this work, because I was like, damn, are twins really good and evil? Is there really an evil twin and a good twin? And like I said, I got several sets of twins in my family on my mother's side, twins running the family. As a matter of fact, shout out to Shannon and Brandon, Ryan and Rodri, Kalisha and Katrina, Tyler and Terrell, several twins in my family. And what I've learned about twins, uh, you know, uh, they come in so many different dynamics, like how they got fraternal twins and identical twins and all types of twins. Twins I didn't even know they had those different variations of twins, but it's all kind, Siamese twins. I mean, uh parasitic twins. There's just so many, aspects that I was reading. I mean, stuff that I don't know all of the technical words because I didn't write them down. I was just dealing with what was relevant to what we're dealing with. And I'm just looking at some of the old twin movies, like with Betty Davis, I think it's called Katie and Patricia. old movie, Kate and Patricia, where one twin is trying to, kill her sister and steal her identity. I've seen the story about the Han sisters, the Asian twins who she tried to kill her sister and assume her identity. Now this is a true story, so in that sense, was it a good and evil twin? Um, could they both have been evil? Then you got the story of these I don't remember the little girl's name. I know they're like some little black girls, light-skinned black girls. I can't remember their name, but little tiny cute girls, they killed their mom brutally, viciously. So what I learned about twins is that whatever their character and personalities is, they vary, but they were pretty much not necessarily good or evil. They were just like one would be more like the leader, more aggressive, maybe more outgoing, and the other twin would just be maybe more laid back and chill and kind of feed off the other twin. That's what I've seen. A lot of the twins would feed off of each other. So, I guess the good or bad part would determine, you know, uh, how they lean. They lean more to the shadow because I feel like they don't, like in the Yoruba culture, okay, they say they share a soul, but I don't know if I'm, I don't know if that's just something in their tradition or because I do see the differences but I'm just saying that, I would like to explore that more because, that would be a heavy responsibility and burden that God has put on the twins. But I've seen where they, like I said, feed off of each other's energy. I've seen serious twins that are extremely quiet. Um, one that's more talkative, one that falls back. Both that's kind of off the chain. Um, then there's twins that I've seen that don't, like that some that like to dress alike and all that, and then others they don't even fool with each other. They have different, some differences. Some of them may fight and all of that, and it's so interesting to me too. It's some out of balance with those things because I've seen situations where parents could play twins against each other by playing favoritism, such as using the tropes like good twin, evil twin. Um, and that's bad. Like if your parent is like normally narcissist or has some other type of borderline personality disorder, they some kind of control freak, they'll come in and break up the bond between the twins, which is really an unbreakable bond. And it can be, and it's, when you start to compare people, even if they're not twin siblings and this the favorite one, why you can't be more like this and all of that, that creates a shadow in the twin that's or the person that's continually being scapegoated, and that's all it really is because I started looking also at how a twin got labeled to be the so-called bad twin, like what makes this twin the bad twin. And so I looked at it from the bad twin perspective. I Googled, I'm the bad twin, even though my sister does the same things I do, or just whatever. My twin, has some of the same traits. But the way it starts is normally in infancy. Like when you look at a disagreeable, just like in E5, we got agreeable and disagreeable spirits. It's kind of like the baby that may be the one who didn't sleep, the one who cries a lot, the more fussy child. It could be certain events where one could have been a little bit more defiant, where the other one seemed to be more compliant. So early on from the crib, you already deemed the evil twin or the bad twin or the disagreeable baby or the whatever. And I mean, sometimes twins look slightly different. So sometimes it's based on them liking the way, even though y'all may look damn near identical, they'll find some trait or something that they think is cuter or uh, one twin may be more outspoken or outgoing, so they may appear smarter than the other child or whatever, or just whatever fits into that mode. 'Cause that's how this good and evil, good and bad, or when you speaking about children and this is a good child, why you can't be more like this one, So sometimes people can plant seeds into twins that uh create this competitive rivaling nature and even hatred in some cases where to me is heartbreaking because I don't feel twins should ever be at odds like that because I know some twins that's so close, man. I mean, it hurt them to hurt the other one. They don't even want to fight each other. They are so close that some of them may get married and later on end up being living back together again, or marrying brothers, or living side by side, or marrying sisters, or just whatever. I've even seen cases, strange cases where one fellow will marry two sisters that are both twins. They got the same husband. So it's interesting. That's another taboo, but hey, but at the end of the day, you know, but if anybody that's watching that is twins, like I said, I would love to even interview some twins on, give some space to twins and the spiritual components in the duality, because we're still individuals, even though, the twins have so much in common. I mean, and even that sometime though, depending on the personalities of the twins, like even the sign, like some of the zodiac signs they may be born in, could also determine how uh independent or codependent. I believe that that's not necessarily written, but I believe that from what I've seen, like with Aries twins, there's competition in that. And the only way that I've seen it in several twins that are born in the sign of Aries. I'm not gonna say everybody out there, but from what I've observed, even in the silent twins, if y'all haven't seen that, very fascinating, strange, just very fascinating story. The silent twins, um, but they were Aries, and the what I've noticed even with these little girls online, I can't think of their name. They're little black girls, YouTubers, are they're biracial, and I cannot call their name right now. Maybe Spirit don't want me to call their name, so but they don't like comparisons. Like with the Aries twins, it seemed like because they're naturally competitive, they would like get mad over if one is taller than the other, get mad at which twin came out first versus second. The silent twins didn't even want one twin to walk faster than her. She wanted every step to be even. Like we do everything the same. The food amount, everything. If you give her 10 Cheerios, you give me 10 Cheerios. She got 3 string beans, I'm gonna make the food even. Everything is the same. And so the reason why I don't feel that that's necessarily natural or true for all twins is because the Aries, Aries is a dominant energy. So the twin that was the most dominant twin, she was more considered, I would say, more of the mean twin, or even if you want to say the evil twin, because the other sister, even when she tried to break out of, I mean, to the point they had their own language, they didn't talk to nobody but each other, and the older sister was the one that continued to push this type of energy. Like if her twin wanted to meet other people or have other friends or do other things, then it would anger. She wouldn't encourage her. She would encourage her to continue to be in this unhealthy. Really, it was becoming unhealthy because they wouldn't even speak to any of their other siblings. They didn't speak to their parents. Like it was something. So in that sense, that's I feel like it just depends on the character of but as always, that's just human nature. I feel that you're gonna always have one that's dominant and one that's passive. That's kind of like the duality within that balance. But at the same time, I believe me when I tell you, the twin that may seem more like the weaker or the silent twin or the twin that will be like the chill twin or whatever, they have powers in certain traits and skills and abilities that the so-called perceived strong twin relies on or gets balance from. So it's that's deep. But I'm just speaking more to just that scapegoating energy where I mean, to even say that though, and I've heard people say it, oh, that's the evil twin right there. She the evil one. That puts a it puts a hell of a energy and label on that individual and the burden that they have to carry. That's a form of how they have scapegoating in families. And this is a form of that level of scapegoating, isolation, that can create this hatred and certain types of energies to the point where someone is always calling you the bad one. It encourages bad behavior sometimes. And that's pretty much, I don't need to go on that. Um, but I don't really believe, I don't really, at first I'm like, is it really a such thing? So yeah, we got to be careful with that too. Just putting labels, on these twins. Now back to the duality portion though, I still feel that each twin, other than sometime, like I said, certain things are conditions or certain ways you may be raised that determines like certain things with how twins relate. Um, and some things are going to be innate. This is instinctual that you can't really break in a twin. But I don't know enough about the dynamic. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a twin, even though I've observed and I have several sets in my family. But some twins may say she don't know what she's talking about. That's not exactly true. Not for us. So again, like I said, I am gonna open it up when time permits, and we're gonna build a little bit on some of the magical, spiritual, and wonderful, unique qualities of twins. Because I still think twins are great. Um, anyway, so I just wanted to speak on that because the next thing we're going to be going into is scapegoating. You know, um, the savior and the scapegoat, and that goes back and I the good twin and the bad twin, and then it breaks down to you yourself as an individual. That's when I said the Gemini energy goes back into the twin energy of you know we can be two things in one. We have two natures inside of ourselves. That goes back to the Jekyll and Hyde personality. But instead of being taking that responsibility for both sides, we look for that scapegoat outside of ourselves, right? And that becomes the evil thing or the antagonist. So anyway, I think I'm gonna end it on that. Um, I do see some comments out there. Let's take a look. Oh, hey, Shaylee, how are you, girl? Thank you for tapping in as always. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm still dealing with this chest and this little chest cold. The head cold is better. I just wanted to look at and acknowledge some of these comments. And thank you so much for tapping in. And now we can move past this, and we're going to be dealing with the savior and the scapegoat, and then we'll take it to some other places. And where am I going with this, and why are we building on this? Because it's time for us to start looking at spiritual integration. It helps with us to stop being so prejudiced and judgmental towards other people. It helps for us to stop being so hard and judgmental and even prejudiced towards ourselves, and putting certain limitations on our mind, on our abilities, on our gifts that God has given us, to have better understanding of things that we're about to see and things that we're already seeing. So that's why I'm building on this. Plus, it's a unique topic. I mean, people talk about it, but not enough people talk about it. And people be like, "Oh, she on some different stuff." Some of the people from our old community, but some of them say, "Well, we watch it because it's different," or some people may frown because it's different. But who wants to sit and talk about? I can sit here if y'all want to just hear about EFI or only that, and or let's just talk about the same thing everybody else talking about. Let's talk about Africa. Let's talk about Black Power. Everybody already talking about that. I want to talk about things, we all got a part in the role to play. So all of that is great. But I also want to talk about other things that is also crucial and I feel is important to where we're going in this age of Aquarius. Some of these taboos, some of these ideas, religious ideas, even spiritual concepts, practices, societal norms. Some of that shit need to be revolutionized. Some of that shit need to be challenged. So that's what we're here to do at the new Souljet Community Family and Conscious Outcast Gang, is to step into our power and challenge some of these norms, to come with interesting content, to give the conscious outcasts of the world a space to feel at home. Especially when I start inviting people back on to build with the community. So I just want to thank everybody that has tapped in and had uh the conscious and open mind to receive this information, because some of this can get a little tedious and it may seem drawn out. I try to make it as interesting as possible, but hey, this is for those that really want to build deep, the deep divers, like I said. And shout out to everybody again watching. Thank y'all for tapping in. I will be back. Oh, one more thing, I'm going on vacation after this week. I'm going to be gone, so I may go live when I'm gone, but I don't know. I can't say because I'm gonna just go with the flow. I'm gonna definitely have content. I'm gonna definitely have footage and be videotaping. I'm gonna meet up with a couple of the community folks. I'm gonna try to do that and go eat with them and stuff. I'm gonna be out in Vegas. And other than that, though, you guys, I'll be back on Wednesday, and I'm gonna go ahead and do some of those vinyl readings. I'm gonna make Wednesday, the day I do the readings on. We're going to do some vinyl reads and a little bit of tarot. And yeah, so y'all make sure y'all tap in to that. And once again, I'm available 7 days a week for tarot readings. If you want a dream analysis also, you can tap in to schedule an appointment with me via inbox on Souljet Tarot Art Denim Design. I'm also working on those manifestation candles, and we're about to start doing, I'm taking orders for the New Year ritual that we do every year. I was doing it every year, and I think, did I do it last year? I don't know. Uh, I don't know, but I'm getting regular on that again. We're doing it for sure this year. It's going to be a long live. We're going to be celebrating. Y'all know how I do it. I may tap in and out, do some short lives, and then because it's going to pop off in Texas first. You feel me? With the East Coast first, then in Texas, then, you know, in California. So I'm going to have to tap in and celebrate with all of the coasts, East Coast, West Coast, North, South. You know how we do it. So anyway, I'm going to be in here full of life, full of liveliness. And you guys will get to see me on video Wednesday. I gotta, I'll be feeling better and stuff. So anyway, thank y'all for tapping in. I love y'all to pieces. And remember to center yourselves in this energy is coming in strong, you guys. So those third eyes, they overwhelm right now. Some of us need to do some meditation, but make sure you pay attention to your dreams. Make sure you honor the color purple if this message is for you, for spiritual enhancement, for influence, for creativity, and to work on that third eye chakra. Okay, not third, yeah, the third eye chakra. I was thinking third chakra is the sixth chakra, but it's related to the third eye. If I'm talking too fast, y'all better listen fast. Okay, I'm soul jetting right now, you guys. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and play my closing song, and yeah, y'all have a good night. Peace, love, light. Peace, love, and light, family. This is High Priestess Sister Colin Souljet, and I just wanted to remind y'all that I am now on Calligraphy TV, that is on YouTube. Make sure y'all tap in so y'all can check out that dope-ass content. Still doing those hella accurate tarot readings, and I am also doing Metaphysical Monday. It's going under a little construction because I'm reformatting it, even the way I run the order of the show. It's going to be similar, but just more cohesive and in order. I think that's the right word for it. But anyway, you guys, again, I want to thank everybody who supported me on this journey. Even if we're no longer, in the same network, on the same frequency, I want to send a shout out to everybody that was on the Metaverse